Yes.
You know what? I've wondered that for my entire life, TBH.
All right, bringing you guys Discord live here in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Sup, nerds, and welcome to this stream on the Go Mode Randomizer podcast channel on Twitch for this 2022 Challenge Cup match between two heavy hitters of the podcast world. We've got co-host Timp versus Discord admin Lumaga and tourney admin Lumaga. My name is Tylersalt. I'm joined by Jawesomesauce. Jaws, how are you tonight?
Hey, Tyler. I'm doing great.
We've got Amarith running the Restream tonight with PowerToMario tracking here. This should be a fun one. We've got Ambrosia for you tonight. So, Jaws, run us down. If you haven't played Ambrosia in a while, run us down. What does Ambrosia mean?
Yeah, Ambrosia is a pretty sweet mode because you start out with a sword, so hooray for swords.
That's good.
You also start out in the standard opening, just like the old vanilla way. You got to save the princess and walk through the escape mode and all that.
Yep.
But before that, you also get a hint from Uncle about where the boots are in the world, so you kind of know already some possible areas to get some speed.
Yeah, or it could just say the light world, and then it could be anywhere. Yeah,
the dark world. And the most important thing for Ambrosia that changes things is all of the dungeon bosses have a guaranteed item. So it may not be a good item, but things like Skull Woods where there's 2 items in the dungeon, one of them's going to be on Moth.
Yep, no keys, no maps, no compasses on bosses in Ambrosia. So that's definitely important to keep in mind, because if you find you're going through Skull Woods, right? You go in early into Skull Woods like you're supposed to and get that first item out of there. You can go straight back to Moth and be done. Boots are in Hyrule Castle. It's like casual boots.
Oh, what a great one. Ambrosia Light.
Ambrosia Light, yeah.
And they get bombs, which is excellent to get that back of escape.
Well, they're going to get the boots, though, so...
Sure. Maybe the bombs is the back of escape Hyrule Castle.
Oh, yeah, back to escape's Hyrule Castle. That's true. That's a good point. Could be.
That's what I'm hoping, just for some good entertainment. So, like, maybe someone uses too many bombs. No, they won't. They'll be fine.
No, they'll be fine. They have a sword.
So again, this is the first first game for these folks in the Challenge Cup. They play 6 games total against their opponents. There's 4 total players in each group. So they'll have 6 games against 3 opponents in the next 3 weeks here. So this is the beginning of it all.
Yeah, double round robin for the groups. All the rules and settings in the Challenge Cup are just exactly the same as they are for the main tournament. So you've got a double round robin in groups. You've got then the top 2 finishers in each group move on to the bracket round of 64.
Yeah, so not only are we starting out with a sword, but we've got some magic in a bottle, so that's going to be a nice little safety that they can use throughout. Plus,
always nice to be able to get Sick Kid on your first trip through attack as well. Bit of a load off there when this says get you're gonna get those boots in Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, one of the things with these open seeds or the normal seeds, whether standard or open world, is if you don't have the boots, you just hope you get them before your opponent does. So at least this will be pretty even, no matter where it's at here in Hyrule Castle, because it's the same process for everybody.
Yep, it's just like you can. Oh, okay. I remember casual boots. I've played that way more recently than Ambrosia. I know how to do the rest of this.
Exactly. Ambrosia does make it pretty interesting. It changes how pendants, are approached, and how you approach them, because just having one item on a boss can change a lot of whether you want to dip it or not.
And dipping a pendant or dipping a dungeon that you can't beat is a little bit less valuable, because if you are not going to go all the way to the boss, you can't go all the way to the boss. You're definitely going to be missing out on one item. So.
And I'll point out, too, that everything else is the same, right? There's no shuffled enemies here. It's not key sanity modes. Everything's normal. Just one of the items, that the non-dungeon items, has been moved to the boss.
Double pot strats from Timp there. No boots yet. You really would want to find them here in the beginning, just to change this into a casual boot start. By the way, classic Timp not starting his timer. I can as Timp's league teammate, I can say that classic Timp. I don't know the number of times I've watched Timp race a competitive race and he didn't start his timer.
And I think Lumaga started his timer like 6 seconds early too. So it's a nice. We're right on time here. Ambrosia is fun. We're on the Go Mode podcast channel here. Every year they do a mentor tournament, and I remember 2020 mentor tournament that I was in with you. We did Ambrosia a lot, so this takes a lot of folks back, I'm sure. Thinking about
Lumaga and I both mentored Jaws in that 2020 tournament. So,
and if you're new to randomizer or you haven't played much, you're just checking this out, like be on the lookout. I'm sure there'll be one of those tournaments again this year for new folks to the community.
All right, Timp with a slight lead here, about a room or so. Insurmountable lead at this point. You have to think. That's the joke that you have to make during every standard start of every resteamed race. Is that as soon as somebody gets a lead, it's totally insurmountable. So. I've fulfilled my contractual obligations.
All right, so we're going to see boots here, maybe? I'm still sticking with it's in the back from the bombs, which would be fun. Oh,
nope, there they are, in Dark Cross. There's those sweet sounds of timp.msu coming through. Thank you, Amarith.
It just feels good to have boots, knowing that your opponent you've got them at the same time or ahead of them.
Yeah, no, it's just that's a big load off. That can be the decider in so many Ambrosia races, or so many races really, where you don't start with the boots. It's like, well, were they in somewhere that my opponent went early on for some reason?
I also think Ambrosia, any kind of standard start, is really nice for a race, especially in this format where there was 5 options, and we'll get to that later. This is a standard start. Everybody's done this a million times. It's pretty relaxed in terms of kind of getting ready, feeling your controller, kind of getting adjusted back to the game. So I bet that both runners appreciate seeing that it was Ambrosia when that rolled.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely the comfiest of the five modes that you can get in the tournaments this year. All right, both of our runners finishing up escape in around the 6-minute mark. Fun fact: there's the ice rod in Sanctus. Fun fact: Timp composed timp.msu what you're going to be listening to. And if you didn't know this, I remember talking to him about it when he was in development, and he timed out the music for Hyrule Castle to be reaching its climax at about the 6-minute mark. So that's really, really fun, right around when you would be leaving escape. Ooh, 2 red crystals in the light world at Hera and Desert, with another crystal at Eastern Palace. 3 crystals in the light world, always a crowd pleaser, Jaws.
Depends on which crowd you're in. Some people really love to see a good Turtle Rock or Misery Mire or just a brutal seed, but hey, maybe those.
Every runner loves to see that. Every runner loves to see that.
So some of the viewers here have seen some races today. They're like, they're out for more blood.
Sorry, Berts.
Nice crab with a ton of rupees there. Good money there.
Yeah, big bush crab here. That's great. Lumberjack, we've got those 10 arrows there on Lumberjack.
Yeah, it's always a good move. It can definitely be a good move to check out the Lumberjack when you've got boots already, or you think you're about to get boots.
Especially in Ambrosia when you've got boots and now Master Sword, which we got in the back of Escape, right? We're a lamp away from AGA access, so.
It's also nice to have some bombs. You see a couple more bomb pickups here. So that's going to be nice to go into Kakariko. Plus a ton of money there. That's going to be able to pay all the bills.
That much closer to Zora money. And our 2 runners have pretty much synced back up. So it was a very surmountable lead.
Yeah, and again, I mean, these early stages are nice if they're comfortable, if there's nothing crazy happening. This is really nice. It's going to give both runners some confidence to build up, which I think is going to make for an even better race for everybody.
Absolutely.
We'll probably talk about it a few times during the race, but just there's an endurance here, right? There's mental stamina to avoid mistakes and keep on task and keep your routing going. And the more kind of mental breaks you can get through muscle memory and just an ease of level, like that's going to help everybody.
Yeah, and that's I found, like, as I played more rando and as I got better at it and as I get better at execution, right? The more things that you can do on autopilot, as we see the OK boomerang there. The more things you can do on autopilot, that means the more time and energy you can spend thinking, right? And generally, thinking is where races are lost or won.
Yeah, and also being able to build up some confidence and feeling good about what you're doing will help mitigate any kind of mistakes or any things that go wrong. You can handle the bad news a little bit better when you're in a good mood.
Yeah, we're all in the Challenge Cup here, right? Things go wrong when we play, so being able to be resilient and do that and handle that is really good.
And this has been Rando Behavioral Psychology with Tylersalt and Jawesomesauce. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to learn when you're playing Rando. And a bow. Very nice.
With that early bow and a crystal Eastern, are you booking it over there? And a lamp? Ooh, there's that lamp. Classic Ambrosia making you think about... sorry, I've been leaning away from the mic. Classic Ambrosia making you think about Aga in the 11th minute.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, there's no reason not to go to Eastern before you think about that. But there's could be some divergent moments later where that's a play to just run after. But since there's nothing on Lumberjack, we're gonna have to see where we're at with Dark World items.
Sure, but we don't have Glove, we don't have Hammer, we don't have Pearl, right? So there's still a lot out there that we need to find for Dark World access. So that increases the odds a little bit.
Absolutely. Safeties and swords early. That's always nice to have too. As we see a cape there in the tavern.
Did Lumaga grab lamp? Yes, he did. They both got it.
It's the Moon Pearl chilling in the library. So
love to see it. That's where my Moon Pearl was in my Ambrosia race today. Of course, the boots were on Zora and not in Hyrule Castle, but whatever. Just 50 rupees in the race game, noping out of that.
I always like discussing the choice of whether to blind check this or not, the race. Like, they got some items already, they have boots, they can check it fast.
My rule is you blind check it in Key Sanity and almost never else. Just in Key Sanity, there are just so many more valuable things that can be there. The odds are so much higher that you're going to need whatever is there. But maybe if you get, maybe if you just got absolutely nothing out of Kakariko, maybe you blind check that.
I like this divergent a little bit. Lumaga going for Saha. We also get information that Misery Mire is a green pendant. That's helpful. But we're seeing Timp continue through the South Shore area, and Lumaga might be making a play towards... there's a Fire Rod there in Saha. Might be making a play towards Eastern Palace. It's clearable. Yeah. It's right there.
Eastern Palace, full clearable. It's a crystal. I'm not sure if Lumaga did a map check. So
he did.
He did. Okay, good. So he knows that it is also a crystal. So he's gonna beeline it over there. I mean, these two, hard to say one of these checks is one of these decisions is wrong. They're both extremely defensible. I know Timp tends to be a pretty conservative router, doesn't make a ton of skips, and so it doesn't surprise me that he's going straight to South Shore.
There's very little time lost on either check, right? Because
you've already got the boots.
And there's not much that's going to make Eastern Palace easier. Nothing really. As we see the gloves.
There's nothing that's going to make Eastern Palace easier. like another bow, I guess, you know, if you're as bad as the Armos quick kill as I am, but you know, the only thing would be that Flute would make this a little bit faster. Would make Ice Rod Cave a little bit faster, but
well, and it's the idea that Lumaga gets to pair the Saha checks too, so he got a couple little checks quickly, just
That's
as
true.
Timp
Those
is
are
also
there as
doing
well.
a lot of checks, so it kind of depends on if your philosophy is like, let's go do crystals as soon as possible, versus let's just do all the early checks quicker.
Yeah.
But Timp did get a glove in Mini Moldorm Cave, so we're just a hammer or another glove away from Dark World access. So we're pretty close.
Well, no, Jaws, we have Dark World access. It just would require us to go through Aga Tower.
That's fair. Yep.
Timp headed off to Eastern Palace now. Not taking the bait makes sense. You would never take the bait in this situation. You might if you had the mirror, I guess. If you had the mirror, would you do Aga before coming over here to Eastern Palace?
I wouldn't. I mean, with two pieces, looking for a mitts or a hammer, really, before I'm thinking about Aga. I'm looking for Eastern Palace, because it's clearable, right? You're going to do it anyway. I don't know if I'm trying that hard to pair it with Pod later, especially if Pod's a pendant, and if you're not the pendant Pod
right
club.
and that's true. There are three pendants in the Dark World, so the chances are well, we know one of them is Misery Mire, but you know, so you got a 1/3 chance that Pod is a pendant, so give or take. Grey Corvid in chat pointing out something interesting. Timp could have Waterwalk fake flippered and knocked out Zora with his trip over to Ice Rod Cave. A little surprised he didn't do that with plenty of money.
Just a reminder, this is Ambrosia. You know, you saw Lumaga get 2 items and then head right to the back here for Armos. Remember that there is an item on every boss, you know, a non-dungeon item. So once you found the 2 in Eastern, you go right back to Armos for that 3rd item for Ambrosia.
Yeah, could be putting off Zora to match with Catfish perhaps later. If I've got boots and Zora money and I've headed there before a clear, like, I'm awfully tempted to do a water walk there. All right, there's absolutely nothing in Eastern Palace except for this crystal. Oh, we got the cape. The cape was in there.
Cape was in Kakariko in the tavern, so we've had that for a while.
Oh, it's just
there was
nothing
in Eastern Palace.
It's just not marked on Timp's tracker. Now it is. Thanks.
Yeah, so Lumaga's probably going to do the south. Yeah. Oh, go for it.
No, shout outs to PowerToMario, who doing a great job. It's not on the tracker. No criticism. Doing that's hard. Tracking's hard.
Yeah, so they're just going to cross over. Or Lumaga might actually. Let's see if he's going to go straight down. Yep. We'll have to see if Lumaga's going to go check out Agina's cave. Some runners, when they have the boots and they come down here, they go over to Agina's first. But there's so much more checks going east.
Sometimes I'll make, if I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing both sides, sometimes I'll call an audible here and decide which way I go first based on whether I want the flooded item. So if the flooded item is something that I want and I need to go left to get it anyway, I'll do that and then go to Agina. But if it's trash, I'll just go right.
Yeah, and we got our first medallion with Ether here. We'll have to see if that matters later with Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. So such suspense. And as Lumaga heads to go get his glove.
Yeah, this is the I think objectively better play. But if you're looking for a reason to zag where somebody else might zig, there are worse ones.
Yeah, and when you're racing, there's all these different variables, and there was actually a Go Mode podcast episode. If you haven't checked out the Go Mode podcast, it's on Spotify and iTunes and all sorts of other good places. Hopefully you have, because you're here today. But there was a whole episode on whether to metagame against your opponent, and that's one of those locations that, does your opponent check Agina's cave all the time? Do they go certain places? Do you want to hedge against that? Go for that? There's a lot of considerations in there.
Oh, Timp just got jobbed with an arrow. Just missed the hitbox. Oof.
So after this, it looks like the places they can check now. We've got Azora, we've got a couple checks in the mountain. You know, they can climb up the mountain to with Old Man and check inside Spectacle Rock, and they also have Aegina's Cave. And of course, Tyler, as you've said a few times now, they could always just rush Aga.
Yep. There's a couple checks up the mountain as well.
Yep, Old Man and inside Spectacle Rock are definitely live.
Lucian, I'm glad you asked. What is the Go Mode Podcast? The Go Mode Podcast is a podcast about Link to the Past Randomizer. It's put on, hosted by Timp, one of our runners, reigning main tournament champ Dante, and also Herfy Durfy, who's great. No shade to Herfy. Herfy's a long tenured admin and community member. We love her. We love the giraffe. But it's available wherever fine podcasts are sold.
And not even sold, it's free. Hookshot. Nice hookshot.
Cool Papa Bell. We found a bunch of items so far, just not a hammer or a mitts. There, you're good.
So we got Bombos on Desert Ledge. That could matter later. Lumaga found an Auto Logic hookshot. So we have to remember that's Auto Logic because there's no flippers yet.
Yes.
So whatever that unlocks will be on Auto Logic until the flippers are found. And what are we going to get? Just some money in Aegina's Cave. We've stolen the old man's treasure as Tim moves on to somewhere else.
Yep. So we are definitely in the market here for a. We want some mitts. We want a hammer. We want both of them, but we'll take one of them at the moment.
We see Lumaga continuing the fake flipper checks here with getting a third sword and a bottle. And you know, logic doesn't matter with those items because they're just cool to have. As we're going to see also a blue bottle refill. So very good.
Woo!
Lots of value there from the fake flipper. You got to have the easiest way to get in there is have the Moon Pearl, do a fake flipper down south, and take the whirlpool up there.
Yeah, because if you can swim on land, then obviously you can walk on water.
That's right.
That's just science.
We're gonna get a check on the old man here. Is this gonna be a glove or a hammer? Nope, just $20 again. But there's still another check up there.
Is a scamfish. So we're looking at here this one check up here, the inside of Spectacle Rock, or Aga. What's it gonna be?
See, what's interesting too is Lumaga, when he goes up here, he can go on over to Paradox Cave and do a bunch of checks. He could find the second way in, yeah, and avoid it. So this could be pretty big if it turns out. So it's Aga.
I bet Timp fake flippers before going to Aga. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. This is it right here.
Maybe. I mean, because Zora is in Logic. The King Zora is in Logic to pay that price. So
yeah,
that's what it looks
he's
like
doing
here.
that. So, but that I believe that means that that logically Aga is required.
Yeah. So I mean, if we find the hammer or the gloves up on the mountain, or the mitts on the mountain here, that would be fantastic for both runners to be able to skip Aga. Bummer for everybody who wanted to see an Aga fight. That might get skipped today. So I don't know which side you're cheering on, but hopefully you get what you want.
Actually, admins, I have a question. I said Aga is required for Dark World access. Do I win if they don't do Aga for Dark World access?
I don't hear the word logically before that statement. So
well, I mean, we'll see. Amarith in the same boat. You could just void it, I guess. Oh no, Timp didn't get it.
okay, he is going up there. So sometimes people don't always go up to the man under the bridge. So it's a good thing Timp is, because he'll catch up with Lumaga's item access.
Cool Papa Bell with a good question. Is the water walk worth the trip there? I don't think so.
It could be if you. It maybe could be time saved because you're going up to Hobo. But I think if you were trying to just go to Zora, then it would obviously wouldn't have because you'd be on the south.
Yeah.
So maybe it was because you're just going 2 screens around.
It's
with
closer.
The boots.
It's closer if you. It's closer if you end up going to Mini Moldorm Cave to set up the water walk rather than Ice Rod Cave, probably.
All right, here's what we're gonna see if anything's going. We still have Spiral Cave after this.
Oh, just Spiral Cave.
Did get some more potions there. That's always good to have. But yeah, this is this is fantastic. You might get your Aga prediction after all here.
Sahabat playing all the hits today. Oh god, did Lumaga skip Paradox 5 the other day? Oh no.
So interesting. Again, Timp already went to the mountain, right? He did the 2 checks up there. So
yes, he'll have to go back up.
No, but he'll probably go right to Aga here, right? Knowing that the hook shot is, if he knows it's out of logic, he might not
very
go
well
those
could
checks.
go right to Aga. No, but he's gonna go check the mountain first. And like this is 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. Yeah. Aga.
He did it.
Woo! Have we sussed out the mode they're playing? It's Ambrosia.
Good news. We didn't even have to suss it out. It was, they told us. So it's
That's
great.
one of the modes that I will just tell you. Yeah. Give me them points. Had a cool 5,000 on Aga.
So the next question is, what are we gonna see after Aga here? Are we gonna see the mitts, the hammer, this like the flippers? There could be
Hammer
some,
and pendant
some weird
pod,
things.
maybe?
Well, with the hook shot and the gloves, they already have access to the west side of the world.
They do.
It's a long walk, but
Yeah,
I wonder if
I
maybe
think that it's without the hand. I think it would depend on where I go. I think it would depend on the pendant crystal layout.
agreed.
Yeah.
Like Skull Woods is clearable. What's that going to
Skullwoods
be?
is clearable. Thievestown is clearable-ish. You know, you might not be able to open the big chest, but the chances that there is an item in the big chest are lower than they are normally here because it's Ambrosia. So
Yeah, and remember this is Ambrosia, so there's that weird thing with Skull Woods. You got to go in there for Moth to really get any value sometimes. So
yeah, and chat raising a good point, of course, with the hook shot being out of logic. You know, going to pod probably the best play.
oh, good
right?
point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so because you're gonna have you're probably gonna find flippers in there. You're probably gonna find progression in there.
Yeah, if it's not just sitting on the pyramid ledge, that is.
Right. Yeah, that's also possible.
My wild guess for this is the flippers will be sitting on the pyramid, just immediately putting everything into logic and making it a lot easier for us to figure out. Which means there's no way that happens, and it's going to be
right,
like
yeah,
the
of
back
course.
of pod. But with the bow, I mean that's pretty much making the whole place accessible for those 4 items, like you said. 4 items and not being able to get the one off Helmasaur.
Right.
That's one.
Unless the hammer's in there.
Right. So I'm always excited to have to do Aga when I have the Fire Rod, because you could just burn through everything with the Fire Rod. Like all those
oh yeah.
ball and chain guys die instantly. These red guards die instantly. Well, instantly right there. You know, they take a second to burn through. But
The fire knocked the trident out of the sky, out of the air. That was great. That was sick.
Yeah, I think that issue with the autologic hookshot, like I already forgot about it. So that's a dangerous item to have picked out autologic.
Yeah. That's part of the risk that you run when you sequence break, right? Is that and you actually find something is you gotta, especially when it's something like the hook shot, which opens so much stuff across the game. You got to be able to keep track of. It's like, wait, is this check that I'm doing actually in logic or not? And that is non-trivial.
All right, how many blue balls are we going to see from Aga today?
Always say 0 and always be disappointed immediately.
I'm going to say 3.
Oh man, it's like talking about a no-hitter. There we go. Yeah. Just sorry, Lumaga. That one's on me.
So any guesses, Tyler, what we're going to see for the Dark World progression and where?
I think that flippers in pod seems like by far the most likely culprit to me. So that puts that hook shot in logic, which gets you to the rest of the Dark World.
Was that just 1 blue balls?
I lost count. I stopped counting after 1, so...
Well, the good news is you can watch it again on Timp's side and see.
That's true. All right, pendants across the bottom. Pendant Mire, Green Pendant Mire, Pendant Swamp, Pendant Ice. Yeah, but the upside of finding Hammer in Pod, Amarith, is that you can then just beat Pod. But Lumaga is bailing on Pod and is going west.
Could be first going to check Catfish.
No, gonna do Catfish first, sure.
Like I could see going to Catfish and then coming back to Pod as an option. I mean, it's an option. I don't know. I'm not going to weigh in on that, but I'm concerned that he's thinking, let's go west, like you said, after this. But I mean, it is a race, and what if they both do it? Then we get some interesting fun on the west side that has nothing to do with the logic. So it could be interesting here. Who needs logic?
Not me. Not me, that's for sure. The single arrow from Catfish, just a big middle finger from the Catfish there.
Temp's just going west right off. Oh, no, he remembered Catfish.
He remembered Catfish, unfortunately. Yeah, Vortex, the more I play, the more I think I agree with you. Catfish doesn't exist.
All right, moment of truth for Lumaga. Did you forget the logic? Do you care about the logic? No. So we know that something, either flippers. I mean, if it's flippers, then, if flippers were in pod, nothing else, then, they're basically in logic now. But if it was hammer, that's significant.
And you know what? Like, we don't necessarily need the flippers here, right? Except to get that hook shot. So.
Yeah, because with the pendants in the bottom like that, ice and swamp, it's, no flippers necessary, like I said. Temp's going back down for... Oh, no, is he not?
No,
okay.
He thought about it, but he knows about the sunk cost fallacy and decides to cut his losses immediately.
All right, remember, Skullwoods only has 1 item here, in the right, or in the everything but Mothra, Godzilla.
Jesus, Mothra. That's
I do
very
love
on brand
Godzilla.
for you.
It should just be called Mothra, but anyway, I digress. And I mean, this is great. You know, yes, it's out of logic. The only thing that kind of bite them pretty hard is if they need the hammer for Thieves Town. Of course, they don't know that they're both doing that. You know, I don't know if they're even thinking about Pod, but they've got a lot of stuff to do, and there's stuff to clear. You know, checks to make that are on the way, all the way down to Hype Cave. You know, that could bring them back up.
Yeah, there's a lot more that you can do, and you can get 2 crystals on the way.
And I mean, I don't really know if it affects the odds in the filler, but since one of the items in Thieves Town is on blind required, like seems like that helps the odds of not needing the hammer. It probably doesn't, but it just feels like it does. That starts getting into the statistical analysis of the seed generator that I have no clue. It just does things magically and it works.
Vortex bringing up the extremely cursed possibility that flippers are in GT. I mean, I've seen Hook locked behind Hookless Swamp twice today, so... Lumaga having a little bit of trouble with the torches, but makes it through with his last fire rod shot. Gets bailed out there with a nice with a nice full magic drop.
And it's just fun to point out that, you know, the runners diverged a little bit, and they're basically a room apart from each other in the seed right
just
now.
A couple rooms. God bless Agaseeds.
Yeah, that's about the Aga fight is about the difference here, time-wise.
Tempered Sword and Fire Rod make short work of Moth and just a bloopy, so Skullwood's not the answer today.
Did we find the other item? Did we see the...
Yes. I think it was in the big chest. It was nothing. Timp.msu slaps. It's really good.
Yeah, a lot of folks have been telling him, myself included, telling him to release long-form versions of those, like on Spotify, so we can just...
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
The kind of stuff I want to jam out to while I work. You know, it's some good chill music.
Totally. All right, Lumaga and Timp now with 2 crystals down, and are headed into the Village of Outcasts, where we get to gamble on the TT Big Chest. Always fun. Being in there without hammer.
Like the hammer being in pod would be super weird because they might find the mitts, and that like opens up mountain stuff, and there's all sorts of weird stuff that can happen if certain items are behind them, basically. But, you know, as we've pointed out a few times, if they're both doing the same thing, I mean, of course, they don't know what each other's doing, but they're both doing the same thing. It's objectively no harm, no foul.
Right. A mirror in chest game.
So that'll open up Tower of Hera. It opens up a couple of their checks. It's nice to get here because as they go south, they'll be able to do Cave 45.
Yep.
It will ironically make pod easier too when they get there.
That is true.
On the flip side, I mean, imagine finding the hammer around here and then being
Yeah.
able to go clear pod that you would have had to double dip.
Yep. You know, that's rando for you.
Isn't rando fun?
Link to the Past randomizer, where basically every decision you ever make is wrong. That's my experience, at least.
Even when you think it's right, it's somehow still wrong.
Yep. Well, just in terms of just sheer volume, if nothing else. It's just way easier to be wrong.
Timp's going to get his mirror in the chess game here.
And nothing of note in the front of Thieves Town. I'm not sure exactly how many items we saw there. I'm going to look a little bit more closely on when Timp goes through.
And Lumaga is choosing to continue. That's a choice. You can definitely. I mean, he doesn't have the small key yet, so that's no indication of needing the hammer. But you can always come back later. Sometimes as a choice, he's gonna barrel through it here and hope to not see a small key.
Yeah, this is generally what I do, I think, when Thieves Town is a crystal. When Thieves Town is a pendant, what I do is skip the back and then lose because of it. But yeah, it's just like, the chances that it's TT Big Chest, that's going to be what kills you, pretty low. That's a gamble I'm willing to take almost every time.
Yeah, and as we brought up before, what do you think your opponent's going to do? Do you think your opponent's likely to skip it? Are most people going to skip it? Then, you can feel it out that way too.
That's true, and these two are pretty familiar with each other. Like I said, I haven't watched Lumaga play a ton, but Timp is my league teammate, and so I have watched him play a ton. And so I know that Timp is pretty conservative in his routing, pretty steady. He talks about this on the show too. That might be something that Lumaga can make use of. But both of them have been very thorough so far. So I think Lumaga is head only on like tiny little bits of cleaner execution and going through stuff in a little bit of a faster order. So there's that small key though.
No.
So there looks like there is going to be an item in that big chest. And also we also know that anything if blind has progression, it's hammer locked. Right? No, no, excuse me. That's a lie. That's when the small key locks itself. Yeah, that's right. I had it backwards.
All right, so we're gathering crystals like it's our job, and but there's still
it is
an
our job.
behind. Oh, you're right on the money there, Tyler. There's still an item down in the basement. We may never see that. Who knows? It could be the hammer. I mean, it could be not the hammer. Duh. It could be the mitts. Is what I mean. Hopefully, it's just nothing. But objectively, because we get to see everything, we know they both are doing the same thing. So it's a
no harm, no foul for sure. Looking for that hammer. It's probably sitting over in pod. Hey,
hammer.
Oro, thanks for the resub. 28 months. Sick.
It's always weird to find hearts in the sand. Whose heart is it? Why is it in the sand?
Because so the digging game is Wounded Knee because somebody buried their heart there.
Nice.
All right, good.
And all I think of is Turtles in Time. Coming out this fall. No, it's kidding. Cowabunga. Are we allowed to talk about other games? I don't think so.
I don't know.
There's only Zelda.
No flippers, so can't have the hammer and swap until we find the flippers. There's some bombs. Hammer and hype, a possibility. I've had hammer and hype recently.
Yeah, they've also got North Dark Hyrule checks with that mirror, but you know the way they're going this way, it's you start thinking about Pod probably by now, if it's not Hype Cave.
Yeah,
I
think
also Hera's open too.
Hera's you go to Pod before Hera for sure. If I had the mitts, maybe I would go up the mountain and do Hera and the DDM checks, but absolute bupkis.
It felt like a vanilla Hype Cave almost.
Got a full heart in there.
All right, I think since they have the mirror again, when you save and quit after beating Aga with the mirror, of course you start back up at the temple there, and that's actually gonna be really good to send Lumaga over here to Pod. I think. No, just kidding. I guess maybe he's gonna do the North Dark checks here.
Graveyard Ledge.
And King's Tomb as well.
Yeah. Oh, this they're raising a good point. Hera's still out of logic because that mirror is out of logic because it's behind the hook shot.
Yeah, out of logic from us objectively. I'm not sure that they are thinking that a logic with that because they went west instead of to Pod.
Just a full heart container in Graveyard Ledge, but Lumaga will grab it, bringing him to an even 10 with Blue Mail. Very comfy.
All right, where are you gonna go? You gonna try Hera, or are you gonna go back to Pod here? Let's see. Oh, looks like it's gonna be the Hera time for Lumaga.
Ooh, that is. Yeah, I mean, like that's if you're just assuming the flippers are in Pod, sure. Yeah, that's true, and that works even if the mitts are in Pod. So.
We're gonna see Tim go up to Pod here, so we're gonna get to see how all this fits into place.
So this is the first match in Group E of the Challenge Cup, featuring, of course, Lumaga and Timp, but also Josh Bittner and Yoinker's wife. So this should be a fun group. I don't have a good handle on who is likely to be coming out of that group either. So this one will definitely be a good one to watch.
Probably someone who's involved in the Go Mode community, because all four of those are people I've seen around in the Discord channel.
Lumaga misses the Hera pot, is going to mirror to reset that variable. Good call.
Yeah, using a very classic Hera pot style, where you can walk and try to find the little spot for it, or you can just bonk into those blocks where it automatically sets you up. You have to find a couple spots, have it blow you into that jar, and then you hookshot your way in.
That was really nice 1 pixel, 1 frame movement there from Lumaga. Nailed that 1 pixel movement like 4 times in a row, like 4 buffers in a row. That was really good. They're the flippers in Hera. So that I think means that mitts are going to be in Pod. So Timp should be finding those pretty close. Ooh, Lumaga got a poke there. But finishing it off with a spin will do it. Down goes Trolldorm for a shovel. And crystal number 4 for Lumaga. Oh, yeah, hammer or flute? Flute.
Yeah, flute would open the
Flute
flippers.
would open up a couple things, but not Hera.
You're right. Yeah, you'd have to have hookshot
Still
or
need the mirror. There are the mitts.
mirror
Okay.
to get up there. Okay.
Yeah, hammer would have worked, but there are the mitts in the vanilla big key chest. Lumaga beelining to shovel spot, hoping that that Hera play pays off with something other than just a crystal. The shovel dash. Just bombs. Pod is the answer.
So, I mean, Lumaga still gets to finish a crystal dungeon, but he didn't get to pair it with the mountain checks that Timp's going to be able to do. He's going to be able to do Dark Death mountain checks, so that is going to give a little bit of a time bump for Timp when he gets up there.
I don't know that it's a huge advantage necessarily, but Timp definitely has, Timp's definitely got an advantage, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, it might help make that difference up that he was down a little bit, so
yeah,
that's going to make it interesting for sure.
He's ahead. He's behind a Hera pot Hera with nothing in it, and ahead like most of a pod. So
yeah, I think the time made up is really just between running from Old Man up to the top to Mirror versus running across eastward with the hook shot.
Yeah, from Dark Death Mountain. Yeah.
Right.
That 3 items or 4? Must be 3, and the 4th one must be here.
It's a good one.
So we're done. Just the mitts out of pod. Gonna need to double dip that. Come back with a hammer. So where's this hammer, Jaws?
I mean, Dark Death Mountain seems pretty good there.
Could be
Smith Chain.
Yeah.
The Smith giving you a hammer would be very flavorful.
That's rude.
Here, take my hammer.
That's not that rude, I guess. But purple chest. Hammer and purple chest. Everybody's favorite part of every rando broadcast, where the announcers just speculate as to where every item could be.
Ice Palace.
Yeah, hammer and ice is so rude.
Throw it in Ice Palace.
Oh, God. Don't you even put that out into the universe.
Bombable wall in Swamp Palace.
Could be, you know what? Could be in Pyramid Fairy.
Could be something ridiculous like you get the flute and the Canis Maria first. It opens up Misery Mire and it's on Saha with the green.
Oh,
pendant.
yeah. Hammer on Vidi always sucks.
So while we see both runners kind of crossing paths where they already been, let's talk about the modes that are in this.
By the way, I don't want to.
Go for it.
To get to this. Very nice super speed Herapot there from Timp.
Yeah, a lot of great variations to do the. You just kind of find the one you're good at, and work on that one to start with, and then if you want to learn the other ones too.
Yeah, let's talk modes though. You and I have both only played Ambrosia so far in the Challenge Cup, but what other nonsense do we have awaiting us in the tournaments this year?
Yeah, so there's also the hard open. That was what all the qualifiers were for the main tournament. That's an option, where basically there's hardly any health except tons of little pieces of hearts.
Bunch of 48 heart pieces.
Yep. The bows are not progressive, so you have to get the silver arrows separately from the bow.
You're capped at tempered, and there's you're capped at green mail. You're capped at fighter shield.
So we got that one. There's inverted key sanity with an activated flute, which is wild.
I don't care for inverted. Making it keys and giving me a flute at the beginning might get me to like inverted. That's pretty fun.
The flute is pretty huge because you get a lot of access to checks. It's not just the same start where you hope the 2 checks you do get you bombs, or you have to go farm bombs. Yeah. So that's pretty fascinating. If you haven't tried one of those, just actually that's the Go Mode Podcast bi-weekly seed right now.
Oh yeah,
nice. Which you can find in the Discord. I believe we have a way to get the Discord link here in the chat. Admins. But yeah, check that out. And we also have a key sanity variant, which is where it's normal key sanity open, but the Castle Tower where Aga is and the Gannis Tower Big Key are in their normal places. Their dungeons.
I like that a lot. That's a nice quality of life. Nice tournament mode.
And the last one is McBoss, which sounds like a new item at McDonald's.
McBoss.
But it's or your manager there, I guess. But it's MC is maps and compasses are shuffled across the world, and it's a full boss shuffle, so you're not sure who you're going to see when you get to the end of each dungeon.
Yeah, and that's always Enemizer is always good for a laugh, unless you're playing it and there's Ice Trinex. Then it's just pain. Sorry again to Bertz and Zeronix. I was just watching your race, so.
There's the flute. We're on our way to that Misery Mire thing I said. Come on, Canis Amaria. All right, that opens up a lot of the Mire area, a lot of checks, and access to Desert Palace, which is a crystal. It's a red crystal.
Pyramid Fairy looming large here. Need an Ether Medallion. We already have that for Turtle Rock, so that's good.
And we got Hookshot Cave here. A couple checks we're going to get to see.
Red Rupee, Red Rupee. 3 bombs. No, Timp, no.
Yeah, and both runners, I believe, have done all the same checks. So we're at, what you see Timp doing is how ahead of the game he is right now.
60 rupees and 3 bombs, not a good investment.
Old Lumaga struggling a little bit on that clip. That's one you just got to practice a little bit, time out. But you can also use the mirror.
Just use the mirror. With Quick Swap, just use the mirror.
All right, where's Tim going to go here? What is he thinking?
He's activating
the flute, of course.
Mire. Yeah.
Can also do, I was going to say, you could do Smith Chain, but that doesn't seem very economical right now.
No, not yet. I think I would go do Mire and Desert first.
I like flying to Mire just to check the shed and the medallion like right away as soon as you get access to
it. Just so you don't forget about it.
And I mean, if it's the thing is, you've seen Bombos on Desert Ledge. I mean, that's accessible now. So if Bombos is what you need, or if it's Ether, you already know you're ready to get in those when you get the cane. So that information can be pretty valuable when you're looking for Go Mode items. Just remember, if you're tooting your flute there, activating it, hold out your sword for the full spin there, and when you toot your flute, you'll be able to summon the bird right away if you've been holding your sword out during this
Or if you've got boots, just flute dash, and that does it too.
True. All right, Ether is for both, so we're good on medallions for the day already.
Got a red shield and a red rupee. Not the red thing we were hoping for in there. Yeah, Hammer and Pyramid is looming. Do you dip into Mire here after desert?
No, not with. I don't know. At first, I was like, instinctually, I was like, no way. And I'm like, you know what? There's not a lot other than Smith Chain, and having to do like, you don't have the hammer, so you have to lose a mirror basically to get the magic bat done.
Yeah, I think since Mire's a pendant, I wouldn't do it. If Mire were a crystal, I'd think about it, right? Because you got to go in there to get the big key anyway.
The other thing is, this is ambrosia, so I definitely wouldn't. Now that I think about it, because it's one item.
Yeah, it's just
if we're not going to kill Vidi as the second item, so it's just that's too loose to me. But it's a race. Right. How do you feel? You go on how you feel at the time.
I think that that desert and then Pyramid Fairy is right there. Got a boot. Oh, Timp, you need that. There you go.
But we're just looking for one item here in desert because Landmolus will have the second item.
That's true.
It's a big impact for just moving that one item to the back, guaranteed.
All right, Lumaga giving us some new checks here, doing Smith Chain. There's the
hammer. Here, take my hammer. All right, that's a pretty big one. That'll be really helpful. Although, I mean, Tim doesn't have much to go after this except for Smith Chain.
Yeah,
unless he wants to do some bad
Pyramid Fairy is where he's probably at next. So
that could still have Kane or something good too as well.
Yeah. Magic Bat with some bombs.
But I believe Kane is all we have left for Go mode, right?
Yeah, Kane. That's it.
So Lumaga's ready to clear pod. I don't know what. It's still gotta find that Kane, which could be in Swamp Palace or Ice Palace now, if it's not here on Lamo. Ooh, could be on some tablets now too with the book. Some reading material.
Some terrible places it could be. Ether Tablet would be pretty bad for I guess Ether Tablet would be pretty bad for Kane.
Magic, I mean, it's nice that he gets to do Magic Bat, so that would be pretty bad, but like most of the checks are pretty bad at this point if it's not on Lamo because they're all kind of isolated or they're in dips.
Has Lumaga not done K45?
He should have. Is this a swamp play?
Oh, maybe it's a swamp play. That's...
or a Bombos tablet could be too.
Oh, Bombos tablet. That's what it is. Yeah. Pyramid Fairy could still have progression. Ped is dead because all we need is Red Cane and need that for Mire. Mire's a pendant.
Yeah. Also, of course, we forgot that you can dash away without the chest as long as you.
Well, I knew he could do that. Yeah. I knew he could do that, but I was just like, why isn't he just mirroring and fluting?
Oh right.
So.
Oh, another wrong red item. So close.
And yet, so far.
Yeah, this has to be 6 though. Yeah, of course you would do desert before anything else.
Timp is doing Smiths before Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, I guess, yeah, without the hammer, you have to do this way. Right. Duh. Guys, I took like 4 months off of Rando. So, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, you could go all the way around again, I guess. But that, yeah, because you can mirror through the Aga portal.
Right.
That's just great. I just love the blacksmith handing you his hammer. That's
then just picking up a different hammer and going back to work.
I've got 2.
I got so many hammers. Nothing but hammers here. Dwarven House of Hammers.
Yeah, I love that trick where you can just dash away. So it looks like Timp's gonna also do the Bombos play.
Yeah.
There. He's the other thing is,
and then into Pyramid Fairy probably.
Right. Mm-hmm. Let's say because he already did Desert Palace, so he doesn't need to go back to that area next. So where is Canis Samaria? That's the next one.
I still think Pyramid Fairy.
I think I'd be interested first in finishing Helmasaur because that's an item. I'd probably go over there to finish that crystal, get that item, hope that it's Kane, and then yeah, Pyramid Fairy part of that too.
Oh yeah, Timp skipped Hammer Pegs. He didn't get the book. But he's taking that hammer, headed straight over to Palace of Darkness.
We also have, now with the hammer, we have Spike Cave.
That's true.
And Ether Tablet is up there waiting as well.
And all of Swamp Palace.
Yes, juicy Swamp Palace. Could still find silver somewhere in there, in one of those places.
When do you dip Swamp here?
I wonder if you do Ice before Swamp. Oh no, it's the same thing.
No,
Swamp.
now when you're looking for Kane.
Not Ambrosia.
Yeah, and not in Ambrosia. I think I do what Tim's doing. I do Pod, and then I'd consider doing Pyramid Fairy first, but I could very easily see somebody doing Swamp and then going into Pyramid Fairy just because it makes like a tiny bit more sense, like spatially, to do it that way, though it's not really a big time difference. Yeah, the book unlikely to be a big deal unless that Kane is sitting on Ether Tablet. That's really the one out there.
I mean, Kane on Ether Tablet to run over to Turtle Rock is pretty good.
Yeah, no, but also like it's the only check that's
right.
That and Spike Cave are the only 2 checks that are up there.
And Spike Cave is restarting you anyway, so you're gonna save and quit out of that.
You're gonna save and quit anyway, but still, that's a big investment for 2 checks.
You know where it could be? The big chest of Thieves Town.
It sure could. It sure could be in the big chest of Thieves Town.
Can we get a prediction about that one? Is it in the big box?
I mean, I'll take the field, but
yeah,
still.
Pyramid Fairy feels good though. I mean, that feels like something.
I do have a tendency to get suckered by Pyramid Fairy though. Like if the red crystals are anywhere near like early on in my seed, I'm like, oh yeah, Hammer and Pyramid Fairy. Something's a Pyramid Fairy, and it never is. Sword beams doing Timp in that turtle room. Worst room in the game to have sword beams in.
Well, what we do know, we can deduce, because we need this Canis Samaria as Go mode item, that Turtle Rock is a Go mode dungeon. So our last crystal will be a free-spirited fly through that. Hopefully some good RNG on the keys.
Yeah, not much happening in a Go mode Turtle Rock though.
All right, Helmasaur, what do you have for us today?
It's definitely an item. Lumaga is doing Pyramid Fairy before Pod.
Nope, just a piece of heart. But Timp does clear that dungeon you had to anyway, so it's
Yeah, it's
progression
not
towards the goal.
Not a big deal.
Checking that off his list, so I have to see if he's going to do Pyramid Fairy next, if he's going to do 2 checks on the mountain, Swamp Palace, Ice Palace. Could dip into Misery Mire. There's so much weird stuff. And then, of course, we got the big box down in Thieves Town.
Just the Mirror Shield and Pyramid Fairy. Timp just going to town on that flute.
Is this Swamp Palace play? Or is he going to do the bomb?
I feel like you do Pyramid Fairy first. Yeah. But it's Swamp's next.
I do like the idea that, in a way, if it's in Thieves Town, the hammer was right next to Thieves Town waiting.
It was. It was.
I know that's not really part of how logic works, but it's still fun.
No, it's not. It does seem to be sometimes, though, right? The key under the doormat and all.
Yeah, how often do you get the required medallion for Turtle Rock or Mire, like right outside of those dungeons?
Yeah, or the cane, for that matter.
Exactly. But it's also, we know it's not going to be on Saha. Green Pendant requires that's Misery Mire. That would need the cane. But it could be on Cold Stare, could be on Argus, could be somewhere in those dungeons.
Ugh, rude. All right, we knew Pyramid Fairy is not the answer. Where is Timp headed next? A mirror here means
I could
swamp,
see
I think.
Running up to the mountain too, but yeah, swamp.
No, you do swamp before. Well, Tim certainly wasn't going to go up the mountain just for Spike Cave, since he doesn't have the book. Can't
Good point.
also
That's a
do
great
Ether
point.
Tablet up there. So you don't want to do like if
Right.
it's in Spike Cave, that's real bad news for Timp, I think.
It seems even worse though if it's on Ether Tablet, because he's got to go back to do.
Well, sure, yeah, but I think I guess if it's either of those, it's bad news
Yeah.
for Timp. Just because he's so unlikely to go up there for one check without that book, which is the Hammer Pegs, which he's not going back to. So, although I suppose he would go back to Hammer Pegs. He might go back to Hammer Pegs before doing Spike Cave. But, that could go either way. When you're talking, that's right on the margin. Swamp is the clear play at this point.
Does it? So is it purely because of the number of items you can access, or is it does like the flippers into the hook shot somehow persuade you?
I don't think so, because you needed flippers into hookshot. Well, no, I guess it wasn't. I was thinking that flippers into hookshot was our West Dark World access, but it wasn't. It was the mitts. But I think it's just based on density. Or like
it's a combo of the two, kind of, right?
Maybe not density per se, but you got a bunch of checks in here that you can get to.
So would you do left side swamp first here?
Yeah, I probably would. Timp, I know, is very familiar with Bomb Diver Down because, to my knowledge, unless he remembers it from the last time I tried to teach it to him, he still doesn't know Samaria Diver Down. So... But yeah, especially if you get that compass in that first chest, or in the Abominable Wall chest.
It looks like Lumaga's going to follow in the swamp as well.
Yeah. But yeah, this is when, like I said, I've said this a couple times. Tim's a pretty conservative, thorough router, so it makes sense that he's gonna do diver down here and do left side first. If you're going to do left side swamp, no matter what, it's faster to do it first.
Yeah, because you get the diver down advantage.
Yeah.
Be easier with a cane, but then again, we wouldn't be here if that's what we needed.
Yep.
But see, again, that influence of that you haven't really used the hook shot for anything, logically, right?
It's sus. I mean, I'll tell you that. It is sus, but...
That makes me think that
oh man, I didn't think he was going to make it there.
That's what would make me push me to the back. Like, if I'm here, I'm thinking, like, let me see if this hook shot mattered, besides a GT.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because you haven't used it for anything. I mean, progression-wise.
Oh, God,
Ice Pal.
So, that hook shot clip is so scary. Every time.
All right, let's see. Left side swamp.
The big key, delayed satisfaction here, delayed gratification. 3 bombs. All right. Still waiting to see if that big key pays out. The tension is palpable.
Bro.
And Lumaga skips left side swamp. Here we go.
They high five.
Lumaga is not comfortable with bomb diver down. Apparently.
I mean, there's being comfortable, and then there's being like, I need to make sure I get through this as fast as possible. Let's not even bother with this kind of feeling. So is it on Argus? Because I think that was the 4th item.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, there's 6 total. Sorry. So there might still be one more here.
I can do, but I definitely prefer.
Silvers.
I definitely prefer Samaria diver down, just because the added time pressure of the bomb is just like one more thing that you need to pay attention to. Yeah. But it's really not that bad. It's basically the same.
Well, if they don't get Kane, at least they're both rewarded with some silvers.
At least you get silvers out of it, yeah.
So if it's not here, I mean, I want to run to Ice Palace next because of the hook shot. I'd be following that one, but
yeah, I think that's probably my next play.
I still think it's probably the basement of Thieves Town because that would be fun.
Oh boy, we'll be here all night. As we approach midnight on the East Coast of the United States.
There it is.
There it is on Argus. Wow. We got ourselves a race, boys and girls and friends of all sorts.
There's that hook shot. That's the Flipper's hook shot to Kane with a side freebie of some silvers.
Yeah. By the way, shout outs to our runners. Go follow them as Amarith put in the chat. If you're not following Timp, I don't know what you're doing. Give Lumaga a follow as well. This Go mode is brought to you, Jaws. Do you know who this Go mode is brought to you by?
Who's it brought to us by, Tyler?
This Go mode is brought to you by the Go Mode podcast, a Link to the Past randomizer podcast available wherever fine podcasts are available.
I believe I've heard of that before. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, they put out a new episode. It's always about rando. It's the only place to get your good rando news, get some insight from all the rando celebrities.
Yeah.
We'll teach you good stuff.
That's true. Starring Timp, one of our runners, and Dante, reigning main tournament champion, and Herfy, the community's favorite giraffe.
And if you're new to the community, highly recommend the earlier episodes of Go Mode, but you go back in the archives there. They've done tons of episodes about individual dungeons, individual glitches and strategies, and basically everything about the game. So if you're a beginner, just binge listen to that whole thing, and you'll come out a new player.
Yeah, watch for the 2022 Mentor Tournament coming up at some point this year. Probably after the main tournament is over, or once we get farther into the main tournament in the Challenge Cup.
It probably depends on how far Lumaga goes, because it is one of the main admins.
Yes, as Lumaga is
when
one
he
of
has
the
time.
admins of the tournament, yeah.
So don't root against Lumaga if you want the Mentor Tournament to get set up earlier. But
he's not the only admin.
That's right.
Tournament.
Yeah,
we got
thanks to everybody
running
does that stuff.
the broadcast.
So Turtle Rock, it's a Go Mode. You still got to find those keys.
Yep. But we got a race. This is fun. Going to come down to GT routing and execution.
Yeah, Dapper Wormman points out that we don't really know. Lumaga might have started his timer just a few seconds early, and Timp obviously has no timer there. So, we're assuming they're playing at the same time right now. One of them could have played yesterday. We don't even know. No, that's not true.
We know that.
We know they're playing
that.
now.
But that's true. I think Lumaga started his timer a little late or early. I think I remember you saying that.
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6 seconds early. Unless it was an audio or video catch up. I can't. Just, take the times with a grain of salt. And when it's over, we'll know the real results. So
yeah, with a race this close, that could definitely be a difference.
Yeah, temporal. That's right. Well, he goes by Tuesday Temp when he makes his edits. So maybe he's Monday Temp he's Saturday Temp on the rando game if he's in the past. So who knows? No, they're both playing right now. We know that for sure.
Yes, obviously Timp is also an admin of the Mentor Tournament.
In the deadliest room in the game, with the Mario. For some reason, Mario enemies are here. We're cool with that.
Well, I mean, sure, but we've got a Final Fantasy character and an astronaut playing it right now.
That's true.
So.
This is the multiverse of Zelda.
The multiverse of madness.
When are we going to get a Zelda movie? Come on.
You know what? Honestly, hopefully never. I hope we never do. I think that would be bad.
It's got to start out with, "Excuse me, princess."
If you want a Zelda movie, just go watch Let's Plays of Wanda Gamelon.
Yes. Or don't. My boy. Some people are like, what are you guys even talking about? You just don't want to know.
All right, so Amarith says that Timp was slightly ahead in hitting the start button, but he lagged a bit, so they should be pretty on time with one another. So should be pretty close.
And Turok being nice to the both runners here, giving them the big key early, so they were able to grab that extra key from the Pokey, which will get them a little faster here.
And a really nice get the Pokies with the really good prize pack. Timp with noticing his small key count and running right by Crystal Roller Room.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, this is the heat of the battle here, where you're trying to get to the finish line, and you might be thinking about what you're doing next, or how you're approaching the Ganon's Tower already, or how to beat Trinex quickly.
It's the flip side. It's the flip side of what I was talking about earlier about being on autopilot, right? Where when you're on autopilot in the middle of the seed, you're able to use that time to think. But sometimes you need to be thinking about what you're doing, like when you're in go mode and it's all execution at that point.
As Timp is about ready to face a normal, regular, casual Trinex here, not one that's on ice like we've seen today.
A couple of those today.
Doing very nice work on the Firehead there. I mean, this is the race right here. As you see it in front of you, this is the whole race. They're neck and neck. So, no more checks to do except we're looking for the big key against Tower here in a second, which I believe we get to roll that fun game.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to explain that right now.
It's America's favorite game. It's Rando's favorite game. The Gannis Tower big key guessing game. There are 22 locations in the basement of Gannis Tower where the big key can be. We need that, and so it's up to you, chat. Yes, you to guess where that big key is by putting a number between 1 and 22 in chat. And if you win, if you guess correctly, you know what you get? Imaginary internet points.
The Legend of Zelda movie on DVD. Oh, wait.
You get an insurmountable lead. You can also predict using your channel points.
Oh, nice.
I chose 9, the most random number. We will be going off of Timp's count because he's going to be the first runner into GT. Even if they diverge and Lumaga finds it first, the number is going to be based on what order Timp finds it in.
So as we wait to jump in here with Timp and the Gannis Tower, again, give our runners a follow. Definitely follow throughout the Challenge Cup. We'll have more of these races. I'm sure you'll be able to see all over the place. So, all right, let's get going here. What are we going to get?
Number 1's a small key in Hope Room. Number 2, the Butter Sword.
Tim's choosing to go back to the left side instead of continuing on. We'll see if Lumaga makes the same choice or not. It's always a nice divergence when runner continues to the right. Yep. I like to go right if I get a key. But, a lot of folks like to do the Dark Magician strat, which might be coming here.
That's what I tend to do. If you do Dark Magician, you don't do Hope Room. Yeah.
But maybe it's like a special Dark Magician where they do. It's a Hopeful Magician.
Like a Dusk Magician.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4 was Magic Powder. 5 is a key. 6 is a key. 7 is 300 rupees. We continue on. And we are going on to the right.
Lumaga, just a little trip up on the fire. He's going to have to wait for that lantern to come out before he can restart. Got to get all 4 of these lanterns fired up before you can exit south. And avoid all sorts of things.
A bottle number 8 for Timp in double firebar room. Some cane strats.
It's just nice. Like, I command you to explode and press this crystal button.
Ooh, bad news for Lumaga.
There it is.
There it is. Number 9!
Yeah,
Number
big money,
9.
no Emmys.
Yeah, boy. This is not rigged.
Yay, my 20,000 channel points.
I didn't even bet channel points.
All right, big gauntlet here for Timp with his lead. It's a quite a good lead here. We'll have to see. I mean, the nice thing is, gauntlets, this is what you do every mode almost, except for mystery sometimes. Yep. So it's well practiced. We've seen these guys do this before, so let's see how it goes for Timp. Silver arrows make it pretty easy.
Red mail, nice. Silver arrows, a gold sword.
Lots of bottles. I believe Timp has a couple filled.
I
think I saw a green. I
mean, I don't remember.
It's whatever's still in them, right? I don't think they even used. I don't know if either runner used any bottle. Well, there's an empty bottle, but
I know Lumaga has a blue because he got it from Waterfall Ferry, but I don't think Timp ever did Waterfall Ferry. Having some
This is
archery
also,
problems.
yeah, I was going to say similarly, this is kind of one of the nerve-wracking moments of the game. Like, when you get to the gauntlet, I'm sure anybody who's done a race or anything with this competitively, it's, you start sweating a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, it's the part of the game that you know really well because you do it all the time. But it's a little bit different every time. You have strats that work most of the time, and you have to react to the different RNG. It can be pretty nervy for sure. But coming in here at around an hour and a half, you got to be feeling like you're in the race for sure. Some missed silver arrows there. The visual cue on these silver arrows for Landmo is you fire the arrow at the first one when you see the second one, when you see the hole for the second one get to the second biggest thing, I think. Or the second biggest, the third biggest one is when you fire it. And then again, for the second one, you look at the mound from the third one. Lumaga starting his climb.
But yeah, big shout out to the runners here. Look, we're just about 130 into this, and we're in Ganon's Tower. What a great seed. It helps to have that boots early, but runners doing really great.
Timp trying his hardest to do fall strats and just will not let him. Makes it anyway.
Lumaga having a little trouble with the arrows. Conveyor belts and arrows and ice don't always mix.
Conveyor belts and arrows and ice and Stealthos.
With BMOS, yeah.
Yeah, it's not those shots. I tend to be pretty conservative with my silver arrows through there, just because it's so hard to hit, like so many of those shots.
With Buttersword with Lamo, what I like to do is chill in that room with the bubble there. Let all 3 Lamos come out at once with your spin ready, because usually you get the first hit on everybody, and sometimes you get a slash in there to take out 1 or 2 more with it, and it's a little easier, a little quicker than with the arrows. But if you're good with the arrow, do what you're good at. Practice what
absolutely.
you want.
My favorite is when I've got half magic and I can just lean on the fire rod the whole way. That's my favorite way to do the gauntlet. Timp just 2 floors ahead into his Aga 2 fight.
Doing some Aga geometry. So this is the part that always puts me on the stress level, where it's like,
I hate
gotta do that the geometry, and like if you miss one, you're like, oh no, I gotta catch up.
And it's so it's so hard to practice. Like you just have to do it a bunch. There's no big tricks to it. It's hard to optimize. But Timp is headed on to the Ganon fight. Gold sword, red mail should be pretty solid.
I would like to know what was in the big chest in Thieves Town, though. So
see, this is what I'm saying, though. I think I skip that every time. If I lose a race because of the TT big chest, whatever.
Buttersword taking about six swipes at each phase of Ganon here. The first 2 phases, no problem. Everybody's got silver arrows. This is the, as intended vanilla style of Ganon, I think. But 2 hearts. Gotta be careful, Tim.
Oh, I wasn't pushing push to talk. That's why you can't hear everything that I'm saying. Never mind. The moment has passed.
We cut you off, sorry. You've been... But yeah, I mean, a death here could be everything. So this is
I don't think Timp has Timp's got a green. Gonna go for the lamp. on here. Torch glitch is good. Oh, might have been able to get a triple there, but a nice double. And there it is. That's 4 arrows. Get your GGs in chat for Timp.
What a close one.
The host of the Go Mode podcast going to take home the win in this race here with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 3 seconds. GG's to fellow long shot Timp.
Excellent. We'll bring Timp and Lumaga in for an interview as soon as Lumaga finishes as well. We want to let both winners finish off here. But what a close race. I mean, just basically a Ganon fight away.
Blast. All right. See how Lumaga fares on this Ganon fight. He's got the OK boomerang out, which I think is pandering to me. No, he's just switching away from it. Okay.
Not everything is about you, Tyler. I'm just
well, yeah, I know, but
a lot of things, but not
a lot of things, just not that. I like Lumaga going for that first, like, oh no, you got silvers. Go for that first shot. You don't, torch glitch is not super necessary when you have silvers. So I like going for that first shot.
Yeah, especially just fire rodding across, no problem.
Yep. And there it is.
You stop him dead in his tracks.
Get your GGs in chat for Lumaga. Finishing up this very close race. Lumaga's going to finish with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 3 seconds. So exactly 2 minutes between our competitors who join us in the booth now. Timp, Lumaga, GG's, gentlemen.
Hey, y'all. GG's.
Thank you, GG's.
Lumaga.
GG's, Timp.
So your thoughts. Timp, we'll start with you. Your general impressions on the seed.
Yeah, you know what? I know it's really easy for me to say this because I did win and I absolutely galaxy brained the swamp play. Things kind of went my way for the most part when it mattered. But I really, really liked this seed. Maybe it's just because I've been playing a lot of the, hard mode of the, the main tournament qualifiers and now that what we're playing in the Challenge Cup. But going back to an Ambrosia and just like immediately getting a mail upgrade in one of the very first chests, if not, was it the first chest? I think it was just like, oh my god, I missed you so much.
And then the boots in Hyrule Castle.
Yes, oh my god, yeah. What just like from the beginning was like
we're playing casual boots now. Great.
Yeah, just opening its arms, being like, welcome back, Timp. We missed you. So I loved it. I thought it was a super fun seed. Even if I hadn't, picked correctly those few times, I was thinking in the middle of the seed, I was like, no matter what happens, this has been a pretty fun seed. So I was really happy about that.
I got to say, kind of the same thing. I actually had fun throughout everything.
Even what a concept, having fun during a rando race.
Right?
Well, exactly. Right. I mean, for a tournament race where we have all these varied modes, this is probably as friendly as it's going to get, in my opinion. I definitely had a lot of fun. I felt good through most of it, and it sounds like we both picked Swamp as our last dungeon to go to try and find that Samaria, because it could have been anywhere. And I was kind of hoping that Timp shows something else.
Yeah, there's just something about Swamp that was calling to me, just kind of being right there in the tracker, finally being available, knowing that it's 6 items and that even with the whole Ambrosia thing, that there's still going to be at least 5 items that could show up throughout the course of dipping it. But yeah, that was my choice, and man, was I happy to see that red cane. I'm sure you were too.
Oh, I was stoked.
So Lumaga, one thing you didn't do was left side swamp, and you actually caught up there a bunch, skipping left side swamp, and you missed the great moment of opening up the Swamp Palace big chest and finding the wrong cane in it. Tim, what was your reaction when you saw that shape?
I was like, well, that's the wrong color cane, obviously. But yeah, that was the first thing that Lumaga and I were talking about in the green room while we were waiting. As we were talking about Swampy in the play, and that was the first thing I said. I was like, so first I found the wrong color cane, and he was like, oh, where was that? So yeah, that's where that was. And then after that was the silvers, right? So with like two significant items, I was like, there's no way in hell that there's going to be progression is the third item in here, or the final item.
It's just going to be in the Mire big chest, or God forbid the Thievestown big chest.
Oh my God, I was sweating that so hard.
I was scared for that one.
And also I skipped Skullwood's middle. That was fully intentional, just being like YOLO, like hopefully that's not it. And I was starting to sweat when it became clear that it was just a red cane hunt.
Yeah, that was just a piece of heart.
Oh, good. Okay,
I got that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
go for it.
Oh, I just say I made a couple of skips that normally I try to be a little more thorough, but when it's a one-on-one race, it's like it's a little more justifiable.
So both of you fake flippered to get the hook shot from Hobo, and then both of you, once you finished Aga, went west with the hook shot, which was out of logic the entire time. Did you guys know that? Was that part of your thought process that like pod was the only logical point at that point?
Yeah, I was like, how close were either of you to dipping into Palace of Darkness right after Aga?
Well, I was not going to do it. I think I actually went down a screen and then back up.
You did go down a screen and back up.
That's how close I was to doing it. I was like, well, I know this hook shot is out of logic, and all this green on my tracker is technically not supposed to be accessible yet. But like the allure of finding, because it was either hammer or Titan's mitts that were going to give that
or flippers
logical or I guess, or flippers that would give the logical Dark World access. And I was like, if it was just one, then like I would go straight to pod to get it. But if I find the other one somewhere, then like I could really make up some time around the world.
We were all assuming that flippers were just in pod, and so when the flippers showed up elsewhere, we're like, oh, okay, that's really interesting.
But yeah, and then it ended up working. I didn't feel too bad about it, because then I went around and did everything in the Dark World that I could, more or less, and then it was like, all right, now it's time for pod, and then I went and did pod.
Yeah, and logically, when you guys think about Swampy in the play there, the hook shot is what unlocked it, right? Like the hook shot had no purpose outside of GT, right, except to lead you to Argus, basically for that cane.
Yeah, that's true.
Who did have that role there. I also want to ask. So, Timp, you had a choice. You had open Pyramid Fairy. You had the two red crystals, and you went to the Smith chains before the Big Bomb. Were you thinking about between those two, or was Smith just where you were going? What were your thoughts about that time?
Honestly, so you're asking me about some mid-seed stuff. It gets a little hazy.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But I do remember thinking, okay, I want to do Red Bomb pretty much as soon as it becomes available, but at the time it was tricky because I didn't have the hammer, and that's what I really like to do, is use that portal right under Link's house.
Right, so you have to go around anyway.
Right, exactly. And I think just that's what it was. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just do Village of Outcasts and go to that area, and because I had a lot of stuff to pick up there still from the Titan's mitts, from getting that. And I was like, okay, and that will culminate with me doing the Big Bomb. And then I immediately got hammer right off the bat from blacksmith, and that I kind of got frazzled. I skipped hammer pegs, which is totally a mistake. So I'm really glad there was nothing there.
It was the book, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's good that I skipped it, but so that was an accident. That kind of threw me off a little bit, but and then from there it was like wide open, and again just ended up taking I went and cleared pod real quick just to get that out of the way and kind of think for a second, and then just kind of on a whim decided Swamp was a play.
In case quickly, in case now that you guys aren't watching the actual restream, you had identical 147 collection rates.
Whoa,
nice!
And we were exactly 2 minutes apart on race time as well, which is so weird.
Timp and I talked about this a little bit as we were scheduling our match, that we have very similar play styles, so we knew it was going to be close. So I'm glad I'm glad we kind of showed kind of similar things happening, but he edged me out here.
I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to watching this one back, to hear the incredible commentary also,
Aw,
but even just to
shucks.
see I also predict we probably were pretty close. I don't think
You guys
there was,
were very close the whole time. It was a lot of fun.
in terms of decisions made.
almost the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. There was not
Yeah.
a ton of divergence.
I don't think
Very
there was an
interesting.
opportunity for a lot of divergence. Maybe to go into pod first.
Really, that was the big point, right? It was, when do you go into or do you go into pod right after Aga, and when do you do Swamp Palace? Those were the kind of the big choices, and they all kind of evened out in the end. And it really came down, in the end, it came down to, you guys were very close going into GT, and GT routing ended up being a thing. So
There was a chance too. I mean, because of the hook shot, right? Like you both fake flipper there. I know because Temp, it was probably because the last thing you could do would be pay Zora, but you could have not done that and just rushed Aga. That would have been a totally different experience too. So there was a couple chances you both took the same direction, but you didn't have to.
Yeah, that is true. I was definitely kicking myself for not handling all the fake flipper water stuff when I was down there the first time, because I had plenty of rupees. I had the boots. It was totally possible, but I basically decided to put that off and do Eastern right then instead, only to have to come back and clean all that up anyway.
I was wondering if that was a conscious decision or just a brain fart, because God knows that I've brain farted that before. So you know, uh,
Yeah,
good call.
my thought process was to come back and do it later if necessary. I don't remember exactly why I was thinking that, but yeah, I mean, obviously it all worked out in the end. But
Yeah, it was fine.
before Aga, I was like, man, I
Terry
probably would have
for
been a little tidier
and so thank you.
if I had done that first. But say love you.
But very close race, folks. A lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to do commentary for. And so thank you to both of you for consenting to be restreamed. Timp, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Oh gosh, so we just recorded episode 98 of the Go Mode podcast earlier today.
Creeping up on a big 100.
Oh yeah, 100 is coming up in about a month or so. But episode 98 will be releasing this coming Wednesday, just as it does every 2 weeks and has for the last almost 4 years now.
Nice. And where can we acquire that incredible MSU pack that you were using, and who wrote that?
Yeah, so the MSU pack that I was using is all original music that I wrote. It's called timp.msu, and you can download that for free at gomodepodcast.com/timp-msu. There's a free download there, and please enjoy. And I am making a few tweaks to a couple of the tracks. I actually just got some live musicians parts back yesterday. Started playing with those. For the gauntlet, when you're climbing up that right now, there's like synth horns. I got an actual saxophone player and trumpet player to play those parts.
This
So,
guy hired live musicians to make video game music for you.
well, I want it to
Please.
sound good.
That's incredible, and I appreciate the dedication to your craft. I'll be using that in my next race for sure.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate that. But so yeah, I just have a couple tweaks to make, and then I will upload sort of a final version, and that will hopefully be on the MSU, the public MSU pack, so it's a little easier to find. And then finally, the final goal is to upload that to Spotify so that folks can just kind of listen to it whenever, because that's how I listen to all my like video game soundtracks and stuff. So
Awesome.
but yeah,
Well,
thanks for giving me the opportunity to plug that. I figured this is a good as time as any to use it and let folks listen to it a little bit. So thanks very much for giving me the opportunity.
It was a delight. It's actually the first time that I've been able to hear it, so
cool.
an absolute delight.
Awesome.
All right, gents, GG's to both of you. Thanks for the great race. Jaws, a lot of fun working with you as always.
Always.
And thanks to Amarith for running the restream, and PowerToMario for doing our tracking, the unsung hero of every Link to the Past randomizer broadcast. We are going to be rating community member Spleeby when we wrap here. He's running a bad seed, or they're running a bad seed submitted to them by Hexodus. Make sure you give Timp and Lumaga a follow there on in chat as well. So thanks everybody for watching.
limits.